Hello and welcome back. This video will learn about the fundamental of cloud computing. I will ensure you understand the concept very well with simple explanation and illustration. We will also learn about different types of cloud computing and also explore in a simple way how they work. Followed by, we'll get started with different types of cloud service model, and then we'll get into Google Cloud Platform introduction. We'll talk about different regions in the network, and I'll explain you in a very simple way what are the different concepts of region, zones, how they're interlinked, and what is the purpose of each of them. This will give you a fair understanding of different cloud infrastructure, not only for the Google Cloud, but any cloud platform. In the last section, I'll take you through a complete virtual tour of Google Cloud Data Center. There you can explore how a data center looks like. So let's get started. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is nothing but on-demand availability of your resources. It could be your compute power, it could be database, it could be any other infrastructure over the internet. And we just use pay as we go pricing model. Instead of procuring, setting up and maintaining the physical infrastructure and services, we can access all these resources such as storage, computing power, network infrastructure, analytics platform over the internet from any of the cloud computing provider. This cloud platform abstracted the complexity and the details of underlying infrastructure from the end user. Some of the key benefits when you talk about cloud computing could be the scalability. It's provide you the massive scale. It has a resilient computing. It supports high availability. It provides you high reliability and moreover the cost effectiveness. It has an advanced security option and it supports the virtualization for most of the product that you use. Let us take you through one very simple example so that you can understand what is this cloud computing all about. So take an example. Let's say this is you and you are working on your laptop and you are working some of your great idea and you want to build one application or some product for yourself. You are working hard, you are building the product, you are writing code, and once your product is ready, you wanted to get it to your end user hands so that people can start using your product. What you decided that you wanted to build your own infrastructure. So you start setting up your own infrastructure. You purchase some of the hardware, like let's say these are some of the server. You purchase some of the storage, okay? And then you deploy your awesome application to your infrastructure. And that's it, so that people now start accessing your application. Once your application is hosted and is available to the people will start using it, and you start seeing your application is growing and people are start using your application and there are a lot of traffic is coming in. People are very much interested in your product. Okay, so now you decided to add more features. You continuously working on your product, you add some new features to it. You keep deploying on the application and you start seeing that okay, your revenue of the site is getting also increased. You decided to add one more storage. And you start saying that okay, you're still getting lots of traffic and you're getting a lot of potential customer from this. Now you started thinking through whether you want to spend time on building your solution or you wanted to focus more on your infrastructure, because this is what you wanted to avoid, because you want to purchase all these hardware components, you have to set it up, you need to maintain this complete infrastructure. So instead doing that, you decided to take it to next step, and that's what we're talking about, the cloud computing. So here we have the cloud provider who provides all the services on demand. So instead of you using this particular own environment, you start deploying your solution into the cloud. So in this cloud environment, you have all these resources that you are looking for. Maybe your server and your database, and this scales as you need. So instead of working on this further, you start deploying your solution to this cloud environment. Start using it from this particular environment. Okay. And as you see, your traffic is growing up, your revenue is getting increased, you wanted to provide more features, you wanted to add more resources, you just configure it and it will be automatically allocated for you. And that is what is the power of cloud computing. So I hope now you got pretty good understanding on what is cloud computing. Now let us take a look at what are the different types of cloud computing available. We can classify this overall cloud computing into three major categories: the public cloud, private cloud, and the hybrid cloud. When we talk about general cloud computing, that's mostly referred to the public cloud. This is the computing services hosted by cloud service provider and accessible for any organization or any of the user over the internet, and we use pay as we go. This is very much cost effective, it is easy to deploy, it has zero maintenance because this has been managed by some of the cloud provider, and it has a high availability as well as the reliability. When we talk about the private cloud, this private cloud offering is for very specific to a certain users or group of users or a specific organization. This is mostly focused on where you need more control on your infrastructure, as well as you need to store data in a very much secure environment. When we talk about hybrid, this is a combination of public cloud as well as the private cloud, and these are connected via some secure private network. This hybrid cloud supports very specific user case scenarios where you have your own data center and you really do not want to move this data to the cloud because of some control environment or because of some of the security purpose, but you still wanted to use some of the cloud infrastructure provided by in the cloud provider. In that case, the hybrid cloud comes into the picture where we set up a private network between the private cloud and your public cloud. Let me just give you a quick example on how these different types of networks work. So consider this is one of the public cloud environment. So let me just put it as public cloud, and probably these three are three different organizations who are using this cloud platform. Okay, while these three are different organizations, they may have a different tenant created in the cloud so that their resources are isolated, their data are secure. Still, in some cases, for an instance, this company want more control on their infrastructure. Also, they want some of the data completely separated from any of the environment. Probably they could think of setting up their own private cloud environment or can use some of the private cloud environment from any of the cloud provider as well. So they set up their own private cloud environment and they can access the specific set of data from that. In this environment, they have more control. It is fully customizable and we are calling it as a private cloud. Right? When you are going with public cloud, you really do not need any kind of capital cost. You have very low IT overhead because for an instance, you want to deploy one of the website from your, for an instance, you want to deploy on a website, you just provision on the resource and just go ahead and deploy it. In case of private cloud, there is a significant of initial investment required. Now, when you need these two together, we are calling it as hybrid. So you have certain application which you cannot put into the public cloud environment. You maintain it on your own data center. But some of the application you can use your public cloud environment. But in the case where you need some of the integration between these two environments, we generally use this hybrid cloud mode where this private cloud and your public cloud are connected with a secure network. This provides you a great flexibility and it's reduce your IT overhead as well, because in case you need some on-demand adding a specific set of resources, you are not completely depending on your own infrastructure. So I hope now you got a fair understanding of what is public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Now let us understand what are the different types of cloud service model. There are three types of cloud service model. First one is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. These three classifications are based on the responsibility and on how we use the resources on the cloud platform, how they are getting accessed, and what are the different responsibilities. Before even we get into this infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, take a look at what traditional environment has. We call it as an on-premises environment. For an instance, you have application, data, runtime, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, networking, everything that you need to manage. To procure your infrastructure, you need to configure them, you need to start utilizing your environment. Consider your laptop or desktop as on-premises environment. You purchase that. Then you need to install the operating system, whichever you need. Then you need to configure the networking on your laptop or desktop. You need to install what are the application you want to run. You need to install your database for your application. That's you manage, you control, you maintain everything. That's what your on-premises environment is all about. When you talk about infrastructure as a service in a cloud, that we are taking our infrastructure on demand. One of the classic example of this is your virtual machine. So for an instance, I want to use one of the virtual machine where I want to deploy one of my application. So instead of I go and buy one more laptop, I can have my cloud provider provides me one of the virtual machine. Once I have the virtual machine, I just need to choose, okay, what is the operating system I need to install? What is the runtime for the application I need and how to maintain the data on the application? I am not taking responsibility of the underlying hardware or the infrastructure. When we talk about the PaaS or platform as a service, that's give you even more flexibility. Even you do not need to worry about operating system or runtime. You can choose from the configuration. right? You go ahead and deploy your application and you maintain your data. That's what the platform as a service all about. When I talk about the software as a service, which is maximum level of flexibility that it provides, where you just use the software based on the licenses. The classic example of SaaS could be the Google Photos. Okay, Google provides that environment to upload any of the photos. It's a software as a service offering from Google. Same thing goes for Google Documents or any other product that you use per your account or per license basis. Starting from on-premises, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. The more we are going towards on-premise, it's give us more control. But when you think about maintainability, manageability, scalability, it goes downward. I hope this gives you a very clear understanding on what is an infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So now you got a pretty good understanding on cloud computing types, and different types of cloud model available. So let us get into the Google Cloud Platform. Google Cloud Platform provides the offering of different services such as compute, storage, networking, machine learning, big data, and several other services provided by the Google and running on Google Cloud infrastructure. And when I talk about Google Cloud infrastructure, this is the same infrastructure Google runs for all its internal products, including Google Search, Gmail, and even YouTube. Google Cloud provides hundreds of services. Some of the key services I have highlighted here, like Google Compute Engine, Kubernetes Engine, Cloud Storage, BigQuery, AutoML, Google Anthos, Virtual Private Network, and many more. But before we jump into these services, and which is our key objective to learn, let us understand a little bit on the infrastructure and the network, because that is the key concept for any developer or student to understand before even we start working with resources. When we take a look at Google Cloud Platform in terms of the region and the network, Google Cloud's available more than 200 countries with 25 cloud region, 76 zones, and more than 140, to be specific, 144 network edge location. And you can see this from this picture, the different location of different region and how they're connected. So before we move to the next topic, so let us take a look what is this region and zones and the overall cloud network infrastructure all about. So consider this is the complete the network. Entire network is divided into multiple geographic region. So consider these are three different region. Probably let's say this is Asia, this is Europe, and this is US. So these are the geographic region. Within the geographic region, there could be multiple region in the data center available. So for an instance, there are multiple region within Asia. Same goes for US. All these geographic region are connected with dedicated network, and these regions are also interlinked with each other. Within the region, there could be multiple zones. These zones provide multiple zones. So whenever you are using one of the cloud infrastructure, the cloud provider automatically replicate your information within region or even within the zones. That's provide you the high availability. So for an instance, you go ahead and deploy one of your solution in this particular zone. The for your scalable architecture, probably you can deploy in multiple region so that you have a failover mechanism available. However, in the back end, the service provider also have the replication of your solution within the zone or region based on their configuration. So in case something goes down here, that user or the services will be automatically restored from the other zones. For Google Cloud, all the data center or the region has minimum 3 internal zones. Only one of the region has 4 zones. That is the reason if you see we have total 25 region and 76 zones for Google Cloud. So this is not only for when you're talking about the Google Cloud, the number of regions or these zones could be different for Microsoft Azure or AWS, but the fundamental concept will remain same for any cloud infrastructure you look at. Every cloud infrastructure has geographic region. Within the geographic region, they have multiple region which are nothing but the physical data center. Within the data center, you will have multiple zones that manage the replication as well as the availability within that particular data center and the region. For an example, let us consider that you want to create one virtual machine, and for now, let us forget about anything that I am showing except 2 items. That you are creating one virtual machine resource and we have 2 options, region and zone. You can see that we have 3 specific region available are Americas, Europe and the Asia specific. And within the geographic region, there are multiple regions which are like physical data center. So if you, for an example, select US East 1, you can see within that particular data center or region, you have 3 different zones. But if you select the US Central 1, you will see 4 availability zone. So you need to decide for your solution based on your end user, what are the different region you need to choose, what is the zone you need to choose. And though we'll be discussing this in a different video in details, but for depends on the which region and the you are selecting and what is the zone you are selecting, there might be limitation on the services, that what services available there are not. Also, you might see the difference on the cost based on the geographic region as well. So from the region, once you go to the network, you can see okay, high level there how they're connected. And 2 things I want to mention here is POP or point of presence. So you can take a look at what are the edge point of presence for Google Cloud and CDN points of presence. These POP are nothing but the access point or physical location at which the more than one networks are getting connected or sharing the connection. So how when the multiple Google Cloud networks are physically getting connected, those locations are called as a POP. And when you're talking about the CDN, these are like point of presence connection we used for content delivery network for building a cloud solution where you want to provide some of the static content to the end user which are nearest to their location. Now you have got a fair understanding of what are the cloud regions, zones, and what are the network POP for edge accessibility or CDN accessibility. Let us take a quick virtual tour to the Google Cloud Data Center. To start with, go to cloud.withgoogle.com/infrastructure and click on Start Exploring. This provides a pretty nice 3D view of Google Cloud infrastructure, where you can go and take a look how all the regions are globally placed, how their network all are connected. If you want to highlight the specific CDN point of presence, you can see what are the different point of presence available across the globe. And also you can click on Edge POP to find out what are the physical access point where the different Google Cloud network are getting connected. Then you can come and click on Explore a Google Data Center. That will take you a virtual view of a data center, how it looks like. So this could be the very outside look of your data center, and this is one zone and this could be the other two zones. You click on data center. Within the data center, you can see what are the network rooms, cooling plants, water pipes, the networking equipments. If you wanted to explore any of the specific also, if you wanted to take a animated look of how the common workloads works in the Google Cloud infrastructure, you can choose any of them from here. I hope you had an excellent virtual tour to the Google Data Center. I have given the links here. You can anytime go check and play around with it. Now let us focus on Google Cloud Production Services. Google Cloud, as I spoke about earlier, it provides wide range of services in terms of compute, in terms of AI/ML, in terms of storage. There are several services available for building a highly scalable product. If you wanted to take a look at what are the different services available, go and click on cloud.google.com and click on products. This will list out all the services available on the Google Cloud platform. Coming videos will start exploring some of these services, but before that we need to get started with creating our free accounts. And in the next video we'll learn how to create the free account from Google Cloud, which provides us $300 of free credits. That's all from here. In the next video, we'll create our free Google Cloud account and start exploring different services. Thank you for your time and watching this video.